Welcome to the Thea Lee podcast. It's January 8th, 2026, and we are on day 8 of reading through the Bible. Today we pick up talking about Abraham's descendants. And because I am reading from the Chronological Bible, I have entries both from Genesis and from Chronicles, and that's important to know because they do differ slightly here. After Sarah died, Abraham had 6 sons with another woman named Keturah. And in Genesis, it lists her as another wife, but in Chronicles, it lists her as a concubine. So just a little difference there. It's interesting to think about the fact that at this point, I think when Sarah passed away, Abraham would have been 140 something. So he still fathered 6 more sons. It says here that Abraham gave everything he owned to Isaac before he passed away. But he did give gifts to the sons of Keturah, and he sent them off to a land in the east, away from Isaac. So then we go to Ishmael, Abraham's son that he had with Sarah's Egyptian servant Hagar. Ishmael had 12 sons, and they were founders of 12 tribes. They list them according to where they camped, and I'm not going to try and pronunciate all of these names. And this is something that I have not studied, but it would be really interesting to study the names of the tribes and where they ended up, because obviously God is trying to show us here how he spread out Abraham's descendants as he said he would. When he passed away, these descendants ended up east of Egypt, and it says that they lived in open hostility towards all of their relatives. Next, we go on to Isaac, and Isaac had Esau and Israel, or otherwise known as Jacob. It talks about the account of when Isaac was 40 years old, he married Rebekah, and she could not have children. And so Isaac pleaded to the Lord on behalf of his wife, and the Lord answered him, and Rebekah became pregnant with twins. But it says that the twins struggled together while they were in her womb. And so she actually asked God why that was happening. And God told her that the sons in her womb would become 2 nations. And from the very beginning, these nations would be rivals. One would be stronger than the other, and the older son would serve the younger son. And then, of course, Rebekah did give birth to twins. The first one was very red at birth and covered with thick hair all over his body like a fur coat, and they named him Esau. Then the other twin was born with his hand grasping Esau's heel, so they named him Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when the twins were born. Abraham lived 175 years, and he died in his ripe old age, having lived a long and satisfying life. It says that Esau and Jacob were about 15 years old when Abraham died. It says that Isaac and Ishmael buried him in a cave where Abraham had bought the field to bury Sarah. After Abraham's death, it says that God blessed his son Isaac, who settled near Bir Lahai Roi in the Negev. So today, I do think that this is just about showing us that God was faithful, that he was doing what he had told Abraham he would do, that all the nations of the earth would be blessed by his descendants. Thanks for listening today. We'll talk to you tomorrow.